Good evening. I'm recording this at night. It's almost 8:30 my time. I was pulled to Proverbs 19:19 and I took some notes and I want to get into it. Proverbs 19:19 states a hot-tempered person must pay the penalty. Rescue them and you will have to do it again. This proverb carries a clear message about personal responsibility and the limits of intervention. The first verse, a hot-tempered person must pay the penalty. It highlights that anger, when uncontrolled, leads to negative consequences. This proverb implies that these consequences are deserved and are a natural outcome of that person's actions. It's about cause and effect. Now, the next part is rescue them and you will have to do it again. Now, that part highlights the problem of enabling behavior. If you're constantly bailing out a troublesome, hot-tempered person from their mess that they create, you're not actually helping them change. You're just reinforcing the idea that they don't need to take responsibility for their actions because someone else will always fix things for them. This creates a cycle of dependence and continued bad behavior. Now, let me say this. We are called to show grace and compassion. However, enabling someone to continue in their sin does nothing for them. It does not help them at all. Quick story time. Got a quick story about a short, fused friend. This is a made-up story. My buddy Mark, he has a quick temper and often gets into arguments with people around him. He'll say hurtful things, throw out what he considers an apology after he's hurt the people around them. Friends and family are starting to distance themselves from him. They stopped inviting him to gatherings because they're tired of the drama. His relationships have become strained. Now, Mark, he has a best friend named Jason who always makes excuses for Mark's bad behavior, always forgives him immediately, and always initiates reconciliation, even when Mark hasn't genuinely apologized or shown any remorse. Jason tells other friends and family, to give Mark a break, always making excuses, minimizing the impact of Mark's actions. Mark never fully understands the impact of his words or feels the need to change his behavior because he relies on Jason's forgiveness and doesn't learn to regulate his emotions or communicate respectfully. Over time, his friend Jason will likely become resentful from consistently being the one to make amends. Keep rescuing them, and you will have to do it again and again. All for grace and compassion, but there's a point where shielding someone from their consequences becomes enabling. True help involves encouraging the person to confront their issues and learn to manage their anger constructively. Sometimes allowing someone to experience the natural consequences of their actions is the most effective way to motivate change. After listening to this video, you already know the person in your life. They came to mind as you're listening to this. This can be a family member, best friend, maybe someone you're in a relationship with. You know your life. But whoever comes to mind, you're being encouraged to give them tough love, where you are honest with them about their behavior and the impact it has on others. You constantly stepping in, saving them is actually draining you. It's spiritually draining you. It's just you're always tired because you're always the one having to save that person. I know you love them, but that person in your life, they could have a drinking problem, very reckless with their life. They need that tough love. I saw a video where a friend was filming his other friend who was high on drugs, and the guy could hardly stand up. He was filming the guy's reckless behavior instead of driving him to a facility and getting him some help. He was making excuses, and then something bad happens, and now we're printing the person's face on t-shirts and acting all hurt and disturbed. that they're no longer here. But when we saw that they needed help, we thought it was funny and we made excuses for their behavior. So I didn't mean to make this video too long. A hot-tempered person must pay the penalty. Rescue them and you will have to do it again and again. Thank you for listening.